Well, that was Zac Efron. We're just talking to Belinda Carlisle because she's just joined us in the studio. We're going to meet her in just a moment. Very good morning to you.
Thank you.
But we should just say that Zac Efron's film is The Death and Life of Charlie St. Cloud, and it is in fact out in cinemas now.
Yes, she was one of the pop stars who defined the 1980s, first with her girl band The Go-Go's, then as a solo artist, selling millions of records.
Well, now Belinda Carlisle's getting ready to hit the road again next year, and that's to mark the 10th anniversary of the Heare and Now tour. And she's going to be there with an array of 80s icons, including Boy George, Midge Ure, Jason Donovan and Jimmy Somerville. And before we speak to her, let's have a look at some of your most famous moments.
We take our chances every day. I want you here with me, praying for our destiny here on this mystery ride. Whoa, runaway horses, oh, take us through the night. Ooh, baby, do you know what that's worth? Ooh, heaven is a place on earth. They say heaven, love comes first. We'll make heaven a place on earth. Circle in the sand, round and round. Never-ending love is what we found. And you complete the heart of me.
I'm fascinated, Belinda, watching that. What are you thinking as you watch those go through?
God, she was such a baby. It was a long time. You know, it actually seems like yesterday, but it's weird when I think in terms of 20, 22, 23 years ago.
But there's nothing embarrassing about that.
There's nothing embarrassing, no.
I mean, you know, sometimes when you look back,
Yes.
when artists look back at their early career, particularly in the 80s, there are outlandish outfits. You know, there were peculiar things going on, but that stuff pretty much stands the test of time, doesn't
Believe
it?
me, I have some bad outfits
Do
out
you?
there that are well documented, yes. I just got a couple okay ones there, so.
Yeah, no, you look fantastic there.
Thank you.
And here, of course. But are there some moments that you just, when you see them again, you think, no, that I can't believe they get that one out? Are there some
Oh, well, it happens. It happens. I don't understand why people think that 80s fashion is so great. I think it's hideous.
big shoulder pads?
It's just nothing
Big
attractive
hair.
about it. Nothing at all. I don't. That's my personal.
Well, you
opinion.
seem to you managed to have pulled it off very subtly.
Thank
without
you.
going down the worst excesses of 80s fashion. But you are revisiting the 80s, of course, with the Here and Now.
Yes.
I mean, it seems like a contradiction in terms to say the 10th anniversary of Here and Now. Even Here and Now has been around for a while.
Yeah, actually, I was on the first tour, and George was on the first tour. So, through the years, I've done quite a few Here and Now dates, and I like to say it's an evening of instant gratification, which it's right up my street. So it's fun. It's, you know, people love the Here and Now shows because it's an evening full of hits and no filler from artists. And everything is familiar, and for us as artists, it's a blast because everyone's over ego and that whole thing. And
Are they really all over
well, I like
ego?
to think so. I like to think I am. Well, I am.
Is it true, Jimmy Somerville, we mentioned a moment ago, is it true that he hasn't performed in the UK for 18 years? Is that right?
I don't know. I mean, I have no idea.
Because he's new to the group.
Yeah,
is he?
I don't think he's ever been on a Here and Now bill. And I don't think Jason Donovan, who is also on the bill, has done a Here and Now show. And actually, I don't think the other ones have either. When I'm Pepsi and Shirley and Flock of Seagulls, I'm not so sure they have either. But George and I have, definitely.
And do you get on with George?
Yeah.
Are you friends?
Oh, we have a lot in common.
Like?
Oh, this and that. This and that. We have a lot in common. And I think we're both on the same path right now. As far as our lives. I mean, he's had well-documented problems, and I've had well-documented problems, and we're both in the same path. We have a lot of similarities.
I can imagine it being a great deal of fun, but I mean, you sort of alluding to that. Is it quite a cathartic thing? I mean, you've all obviously been through a similar experience, and possibly good and bad parts of that. I mean, do you sit on the coach, you know, and do that thing where you kind of talk to people in a way that you wouldn't have done years ago?
Yeah,
kind of like
probably.
comparing life experiences, that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's like And it's really good sometimes, you know, when you have people that have had similar backgrounds or experiences. Like I mean, I might as well say I was an addict for 30 years, a drug addict for 30 years. It's good to talk about it. Sometimes to get off your chest and be able to relate stories. And you know, it's when people like that get together, it's like mini meetings and stuff. And it's, you know, it's. I mean, for me, you know, being in a 12-step program, which has saved my life, I think everybody should be in one, regardless of whether they have a problem or not, because it's an amazing, amazing way to live.
So you're off on tour with George and this extraordinary array of other 80s stars, and it kicks off next...
The 24th of June in Birmingham.
Okay.
In 2011.
How do you work out who gets first, who's on stage first? Is there an ugly kind of fight off stage?
Not, well, for me, I like going on. I like to be in bed by 9 o'clock.
Okay.
So you don't mind stepping up first?
So I don't mind. The earlier the better for me. But as far as headlining spots, I don't know, because honestly, I do like to be in bed early. So I'm never a part of those arguments.
It's an unusual kind of rock and roll
It's
thing
not
where everyone's
rock and roll
fighting
life.
together.
I've had plenty of times where I've gone, you know, the opposite.
Yeah.
You've got up as people
exactly,
are going to bed,
or never went to bed. So, so it's fine with me being on early.
Good luck with the tour.
Thank
you
you.
very much for coming this
Thank
morning.
you.
Nice to see
Lovely
you.
to see you,
Thank
Belinda.
you.
Thanks so much. 9 minutes to 9. Here's Carol with a look at this morning's weather.